Welcome back to Live at the Roxy with the Steph Sabraw in the house.
Look, we made our long distance relationship work.
This is how you make a relationship work. Wherever you are, you just got to check in with each other and no 50 miles. How many miles away are you? 150 miles can keep us apart. How far are you?
You know, I should know the answer to that question. Somewhere over 100 miles.
You think so? How far? Somebody let us know how far San Diego is from Los Angeles. Well, if it takes 2.5 hours and you can drive, I don't know, 50 miles an hour.
I think Long Beach is 100 miles, but you know what? I have Google Maps right here.
The amazing content you all came to see today.
115 miles.
Wow. Did I say that? No.
You said 150, but pretty close.
We could pretend that I said 15.
Yeah.
I said 15. Come on. That's what I said. Right. You guys heard it.
I'm trying to sabotage you on your show.
Guys, I've officially decided that Steph's here any day that she can be. That's just the way it works. And that's the way. Wow. How many times during quarantine have I said that's the way the cookie crumbles? I say it all the time now. I'm a grandparent. It's fine. A lot going on in the world today. I guess we'll do some speculating on relationships. Jada Pinkett Smith and Will Smith have had an interesting relationship for years. We don't know exactly what that looks like, but there is some affairs being denied. So worth mentioning, but I'll just throw it out here right now. Zero shame in whatever game. You guys do you. Like, this is not a speculation and we want to trash on anybody. Whatever's working in your marriage is clearly working. You guys seem to be crushing it. What did you just yell?
Monogamy or death.
Yes. I thought you said you're dead.
No. Like, okay. Yeah, I agree. I second that. No judgment.
No judgment. So we will talk about it, but just getting you guys in the right state of mind. We'll talk about it in a friendly, fun way, not in a shaming kind of way, because not our relationship. Ray Fisher, holy crap. This started small and grew really large. He's going after Joss Whedon, and we are going to break it all down. If you don't know what I'm talking about, no worries, because it's kind of a complicated story. So I'll definitely explain it, because there's a second part to this, which is the fact that Jason Momoa is going to be voicing Frosty the Snowman in a Frosty the Snowman movie. Now, why is that relevant to Ray Fisher being upset with Joss Whedon? I will explain that all in a little bit, because I'm sure some of you guys have some raised eyebrows right now. Also, America, another round of America. Look at us. Look at what we did. We bought almost all of the COVID drugs so that no other country could buy them for the next 3 months.
I hate us.
Let's talk about that. Go America, crushing it. Just like 4th of July. Can't wait to celebrate our independence, because America's just so rad. Just go America.
Let's do what we're best at, fucking people over.
Totally. So we'll be talking about that as well. Is Kim Kardashian a billionaire? According to Kanye, yes. According to Forbes, no. No, you are not. Don't claim you're a billionaire when you are not, Kim. So we'll be talking about that also. And then Gavin Newsom spoke today, and he was like, yeah, you know how you guys are like doing all these things and like making plans to go to the movies and lunch and dinners? Nah. No. So, and I'm sure that's going to be happening in other places that are seeing major spikes other than Florida, because they continue to spike and just don't give a fuck. Part of me kind of wishes that I was a Floridian, because wouldn't that be a lovely lifestyle?
Yes, just no fucks to give, only concerned about themselves and the group that they care about, and that's it. Like, c'est la vie.
Like, I don't care, because I'm a Floridian, so it's fine to put my hand in this alligator mouth. Whatever. I don't know why that's what I feel like people from Florida do, but like, nah, not too bad. I watched a Floridian man kiss an alligator on the nose.
That's my favorite thing. Atlanta, the show on FX, Donald Glover show, would always do a Florida man joke. Like almost every episode would be like, Florida man eats crocodile and then gets killed by,
Do you remember when they made Google like Florida man and then your birth date, and then whatever that was is the kind of Florida man you are.
No, that's amazing.
That was a trend going on last year. It'd be like Florida man, July 13th, and then whatever that was is like my Florida man. Or whatever.
My Florida man would be bath salts, just eating faces, just crazy.
That one just really wigs me out because, like, I guess it happens to the best of us, but like,
oh yeah, that bath salts.
you have to be. I mean, I feel like even more than the drugs that maybe are equally as bad. Like, there's something about bath salts where it's like you got to be really ready to be like, my life actually is. I don't care. My life actually is.
You have to be ready to step into cannibalism.
Yeah, yeah. Like, and like, how do you do bath salts?
I don't know. That's a great question.
Is it through the mouth, the nose?
I'm sure it's
you
smoking.
Shoot them? You smoke them?
I'm sure it's like most drugs. There's probably
like
many different ways you can do it.
Yeah. Okay, follow-up question, just to show my ignorance. Are bath salts, they're legitimate bath salts, or they're not?
No. I thought this too, and I was like, that's weird because like what if a baby got into that and then the baby just starts eating their legs, you know? It's different. I don't know why they keep that bath
title. Wow.
Yeah.
What a hit to the bath salt industry when you call that bath salts. Same thing with, you know, how after we titled this coronavirus and Corona beer, what was it? 30% of Americans wouldn't drink it anymore. It's like, what an unnecessary hit to your business that has nothing to do with it. It's kind of a bummer.
Completely. Okay, I have the explanation for us.
All right, give it to me.
Bath salts are a group of recreational designer drugs. The name derives from instances in which the drugs were disguised as bath salts. The white powder, granules, or crystals often resemble Epsom salt. So I think there's multiple ways to.
But it sounds like meth. So what's the difference? Somebody talk to us. What is the difference? Just trying to like weigh out my options.
Sounds a lot like meth, you know?
Gotta figure this one out. All right, guys. Also, as you know, always super chat, Streamlabs, get in your questions, comments, concerns. Considering the fact that we're talking about bath salts at 1 p.m. on a Wednesday, there might be several concerns. So feel free to voice those right here, right now. I see a few super chats already coming in. Ross Bristow says, talk about the stupid swastika pizza. I didn't see the swastika pizza. Something tells me that I'm not going to like the swastika pizza, but all right. Should I in my Google history?
Don't knock it down yet, Ross.
Don't knock it till you try it. Swastika pizza is now officially part of my Google search. Okay, Little Caesars fired 2 employees after a couple found a swastika made of pepperoni. Wow, that is a very large swastika on a pizza. It's exactly what you're envisioning. That's the pizza, and in pepperoni is a swastika shape from corner to corner. Woohoo! Well, good for you, Little Caesars, for firing them. Because no shit. And then also... Yep. This like, what am I supposed to say? This is an anti-Semitic country. There's a lot of anti-Semitism. It's not at the forefront right now because we're fighting different fights, but like I talk about this all the time.
Yeah, this shit never ends. Like this is the classic anti-Semitism that Jewish people in America constantly face. And I think that it's not the time to really, really focus on it, but that stuff has to stop too. That is not okay.
No, it's not. But also, you know, some people do this because there's so much hate in their heart, and other people do things because they think that it's like funny.
Yeah.
So I don't know the intention behind this. I just know it's definitely coupled with ignorance, probably a little bit of hatred, possibly a lot of hatred. And it's not like you don't look at it and you think, I don't want to pull it up because I don't want to put a swastika on my show, but it's one of those things where like it's a very clear swastika. It's not like, were they trying to make a swastika? Like it is like a very intentional swastika.
And like you've made this before, swastika.
Yeah, like you've done this before, and other customers have not complained clearly, which is an issue. But I will say, that's a phone call for sure. That's a phone call complaint. There is a bar in Los Angeles that has a massive swastika on a poster. As you know, it's actually one of the bars that I really enjoy. It's on the Cabaret poster and it's framed as a piece of art, but every time I walk in there, there's a huge swastika on their wall. And I said something at some point, like, I feel uncomfortable that there's this massive swastika every time I walk in here. It's like, you can't just like, what are you going to do just because it's part of a piece of artwork, have the N word just plastered on the wall? Like, it's not.
It's the same arguments with the racist statues. You just don't need to do that.
Yeah, there's too much other art. Like, it's fine if that was the only piece of artwork on the planet, like, all right, then I guess you got to hang it on the wall. But like, there's just so many other pieces of artwork. Why do I have to walk in every time and see a huge swastika? It just seems so unnecessary.
Yeah,
so
you don't deserve that.
And then Tehran came on the show a little while back and was telling us about the original meaning of the swastika, which I guess was an Indian symbol for like peace and hope, which I had no idea about. So that's shitty that we took that from them. Sorry, you guys can't use it anymore, whatever that symbol initially was for.
Just taking cool stuff from brown people and making it hateful.
Way to go, Hitler. Way to do that thing. Words that have never come out of my mouth before. Lewis Cox in here saying, yo, Roxy and Steph, love you guys. Lewis, we love you too. Appreciate that love and support.
Big love.
Big love for sure. John G said, finally back to work full time. Thought I'd share a bit with you. Hope you are both well. John G, fuck yeah. Thank you for sharing. Sharing's caring. And I'm so glad you're back to work full time. Or at least I think I'm glad, as long as you feel comfortable and safe, and that's a good thing. But definitely everybody needs to make money. So I'm glad you are. I'm actually, while we're talking about that, I do want to just start talking about this Gavin Newsom stuff, because I am slightly concerned by the fact that we have to do this, but I'm concerned by the fact that we're doing this. Gavin Newsom today in his speech said that there's no longer the ability to run indoor restaurants or movie theaters. There's a couple other things I think that he named, but the fact that they're coming out with the stat 19 times more likely to catch COVID if you're inside dining versus outside dining. He is putting the kibosh on this. And it's concerning because the government is not meeting until mid-July to talk about whether or not we can get more aid checks sent out to us, because remember, they already sent a lot of our checks to those dead people. So government,
$1 billion,
totally $1 billion, woo woo. But now they're meeting again to see if we need another stimulus package, because it's been months and a lot of people are still out of work. And for anybody who does work at a restaurant or a movie theater, yes, you're on unemployment. Unemployment's possibly running out for people soon. Even if you are on unemployment, you're likely not making the same amount that you were making prior. There's so many different situations going on. So what do you think, Steph? Obviously, Gavin Newsom's in a very tough position, as is any governor of any state or any politician right now.
Yeah.
Do you think that this is what we have to do? Do you think that this will last long?
Yeah, I think it's what we have to do. And if I'm a governor we can all assume that Gavin Newsom has presidential hopes in his future. He does not want blood on his resume. The more deaths that we have, the more that it will be blamed on him and remembered as him. It sucks, but we've been knowing that there was going to be a second wave. And I do think that there's a way to make it less, like, we all have a better understanding of the virus now. So I feel like you can go on a walk with a friend. You shouldn't be talking that quick, and like, you might still get it, but I do think that there is less stress as we navigate it. Does that make sense?
Can you explain to me about that? You shouldn't be talking that quick.
That close.
Oh, okay.
You shouldn't be like in each other's mouths.
Right. I just thought you meant like you're more likely to contract it if you speak very quickly. Like, more spit will fly.
Fast talkers have a higher chance of getting the virus. You don't know that, Rox? That's why I talk very slow. This
is why we need to speak
slow down.
Chill out.
Exactly.
I'm with you. Gavin Newsom, I feel like his hands are tied. Part of me, you guys know on this show, part of me has been talking about this coronavirus conspiracy theory that I have, which has never been a conspiracy theory that it doesn't exist. It's more of a conspiracy theory about the fact that they were telling us that we couldn't go outside, and then 100,000 people march and the cases don't rise because of that. So it's not even a conspiracy. What happened there was they didn't know much. Now they know more, which is that you're less likely to get it in that situation than if you're inside with somebody. That makes sense. Conspiracy solved. So I feel like now that we know you are much more likely to get this inside, we need to eliminate places that are open in which that's the goal, to go inside and sit for long periods of time around people. Like that we can't do that. And for people like, I don't know, Steph, myself, and maybe you guys in the chat, we're actively making that decision. Even if restaurants were open, even if theaters are open, we're actively probably like, I don't think we should go. But then there's people like my grandmother who listen to the government. That's like the way that she was raised. And if the government says she is safe to go into a restaurant and it's open, she goes. And if they say it's not, then she can't. So it's like, while I believe in the freedom of choice, and I believe that at some point we're going to have to get people back their jobs, I also know there's a big chunk of the population who listens to the rules and lives by the law and need to be told you cannot go inside a restaurant right now because you could get very injured and very sick.
I also think that people wouldn't be so crazy about what was going on if our government handled things from the beginning proactively. We have such a problem with bailing out massive companies and corporations, and we've always, since before 2008, have forgot about small businesses. So if we actually had a plan to support small businesses and individuals and cut out rent and just provide for the people as opposed to that, I don't think people would be as psychotic about being home.
Same. I mean, I don't remember, you guys can remind me who on the show said that they feel like the government should suggest that you have 3 people in your life and those are the 3 people you see, so people are not as isolated. Like, I know that seems like a woo suggestion from a government, but like there are certain psychological elements to this as well. And for people like me who live by myself, you cannot go months without stepping outside or seeing a person. Like that's solitary confinement, but obviously, and I don't mean it like the same conditions. I just mean like psychologically, if you are not speaking to anybody, if you're not going outside, if you're not seeing anybody, it's not healthy. So we need to find ways to make it as healthy as possible for people to be able
have
to
human contact,
interaction at all. We
Agreed.
have to. So we'll see. This could, I don't know, this could last a couple weeks. We could be in for a few more months. One thing I know for sure is that the biggest change will be when we have a vaccine, which is not now, but now we have a COVID drug. So let's talk about it. There's a COVID drug. I guess it's called Remdesivir. Do you know if that's how it's even pronounced?
No, all the pharmaceutical drugs, I don't know where they get.
Why do they pick their fucking names the way they do?
It's based off of I feel like the chemicals or
compounds,
ingredients, compounds that are in there.
But then they pick a name, like a commercial name, and then there's the technical name, whatever. Remdesivir is a drug that is now being shown to significantly help with the virus. So this is not a vaccine. This is not preventative. This is a treatment for COVID-19. Now, that does not mean that it is a foolproof treatment. That doesn't mean this is curing COVID in all cases, but this is a helpful drug. And the US bought it all. I guess it's a little less severe than what I just said, but not by much. We bought the entire stock for the month of July and 90% of the stock for the months of August and September. So for the next 3 months, the US has more than 90% of the stock of this drug. Now, yes, we have more confirmed cases than a lot of other countries. We also have more ability for testing and more fucking idiots here, apparently. But a lot of other countries are like, what the fuck? What the fuck? There's one drug right now that is helping this, and you guys just purchased it all. What do you think, Steph, in terms of what you said before about not getting blood on your hands? That's probably a little bit what's going on with Trump and the government.
Yeah,
there's also
because
go ahead.
I think for I know I do communicate with some Republicans, and I do this for reasons because they're family, and also it's important to see what the other side is thinking because we cannot make progress if we don't understand each other.
Mm-hmm.
And for a lot of them, the failure of how this administration has handled the pandemic is massive. And then on top of it, we have like what's going on with Russian and putting bounty on our own military there and all of these things. I do think that they're trying to make way for like a better historical reference when we talk about this era and what they did and then come November. But I mean, what a lack of leadership that you just take all of the what could save people's lives instead of maybe taking some and then devoting all of our top-notch scientists to just recreate it. You know, I don't like, do we ask those questions?
What is your job as a president though? Is it to protect your country at all costs, or is it to be a human being and try to make the world a better place?
Yeah.
And that's something that I feel very challenged by right now, because I will say, for the first time ever, while I want to punch him in the face for this decision, I do understand, if you are the president of a country and you're able to secure this, why that would be tempting. I would like to think that whoever is our president, obviously not this one, is a good enough human being to know it's so fucking wrong to do what you're doing. But in your job description, is this the job? Is the job to protect your citizens? I don't.
A lot of people think that. And that was a lot of people's problems with Obama. President Obama, they called him like a world citizen because it was more of that UN type, United Nations type take where it's like, yeah, we are the priority, but it's also we are one as a whole. So when it comes to a pandemic that is one as a whole, I feel like, I don't know, there should be a multinational country type of task force that can communicate on stuff like this.
I completely agree. I think it's a really tough decision, but at the end of the day, you can't be a fuck. And like, you're being such a fuck right now. Like, if you live in any other country, how do you look at America? We still need to keep, even if you're trying to think about America first, we still need to keep our relationships with other countries. And how are we supposed to do that when we are clearly drawing a line in the sand and saying our lives matter more than your lives, period?
Yes.
Like, yeah. So then how are we supposed to then go to England and be like, oh, we want to update our trade policy? Like, fuck you. Yeah. You straight up said your lives matter more than us. You want to take care of yourselves. And now we don't, like, that's not how life works. So
yeah,
I fuck why I would never want to be in a position like this. But like, what is the right percentage? If America's able to buy 100% of this drug, what is should we buy 50%? Should we buy 20%? Should we buy 50% and give 10% away because other countries can't afford it? Like, what is the percentage in which is, obviously what we're doing is the wrong percentage. What is the right one? I don't know.
Yeah. I feel like if we had a president who actually read briefs, I can't imagine that a brief wouldn't include the entire scope of things. Like how many individuals and countries could be foreseen to need this type of drug? What do we need? Can we use ventilators instead for the countries that don't have ventilators? Like how much do we actually need? Can we replicate this? How long would that take?
And why is America even allowed to do this?
Yeah. Well, because it's all private. This is why I think the pharmaceutical industry is actual like mini Satans just throughout the country.
So fucked up. That is what it is. Going back to earlier, Chris McGovern said, hello, Roxy and Steph. Hello back to you, Chris. Appreciate you being in here and everybody for being in here, joining us live at the Roxy today as we jump all over the place. Lamont Smalls in here said, agreed, we can go a summer without indoor dining. Cuomo, de Blasio announced ours today. Murphy, New Jersey did it on Monday. Okay, so New York and New Jersey and California, probably other places will follow suit.
Yeah.
and make it so that there's no indoor dining. And you are right, Lamont, that it is summertime, so you can still dine outdoors. That is lucky that we are not in winter right now, in which case you would not be able to dine at all, especially at those East Coasters. You guys know what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about East Coast Florida. I'm talking about the Northeast. I am so nervous about winter and what it's going to do to this, but I guess we'll take that as it fucking comes.
I know. Hopefully we can just get a hold on it now, because it is true. There's such a difference between a winter quarantine and a summer quarantine. Like, we want to go out now because it's summer and that's when everyone just lets loose and wants to do fun stuff. But winter, if you were actually locked in an already depressive state.
I know. Unrelated to what you just said, but super related to what I was talking about earlier. Legoland 13. I don't know what Steph's shirt is, but it looks so fun. That's what I told her before we started.
Thank you. Yeah, I think it's just random. It's a random design.
She's
Appreciate you.
Such a cutie. Lloyd Nance in the Streamlabs, thank you for your support. Lewis in the Streamlabs says, let's see if this is work. Maybe let's see if this works.
This works.
Or if this is work. This is work.
It's both.
And this works. So
we should be getting paid for being quarantined.
Yeah, facts. Weston Ira says, hello there, hashtag Stexy. Wow, dope as shit name. Big props to Steph for being so clutch. Very true. I joke, but that's a legit put a ring on it quality. Also, shout out to Video Drew for dramatically reaching her $1,000 moving goal last night. Heard about Mythbusters guy assault accusations. Okay, a lot going on in there, Weston. Video Drew's moving goal, I have no idea what you're talking about, but I love Video Drew, so I'm happy she met a goal of hers. Mythbusters guy assault accusation. No, I didn't see about that. I did see the accusations about Essence magazine head. Did you see those stuff?
No, I just
all right, let's see what's going on with Mythbusters. Mythbusters star Adam Savage denies sexual assault accusations made by sister. Oh no, I did see this. My friend Sarah Stratton was telling me about this. From what I know, in this story is what happened is that the sister came out and said that her brother, who is the star of Mythbusters, Adam Savage, was sexually assaulting her, raping her whole life. She explicitly talked about blowjobs and sex. And then he denied it. And then their mom came out and denied it and said, my daughter is mentally ill. So that's where I think we are now.
Holy cow.
I don't know. I mean, first of all, there's so many layers to this. When you're mentally ill, you not only, and who knows if she is, that's what the mother is saying, but you are the most vulnerable to being assaulted often because people don't believe you when you are. Also, assault can cause mental illness. So we don't know if there's any links there or not. I don't know. I don't know what to make of this story. I know that if you are coming out and saying that you've been sexually assaulted and your mother comes out publicly and denies that, that's got to do a lot of damage to your psyche. I'm sure we're going to hear more about this, but sounds like a fucking nightmare situation.
Yeah, I would not. I do not envy that. Those types of things, it's so hard to talk on.
I know.
Because you have very valid sources in terms of actual individuals who are in the family, but saying complete opposite things, I just don't like speculating on that.
Yeah, we don't know. We don't know what happened. We don't know what that could mean. I wonder if there will be more news about that in the future, but we will be talking about it if there is. Grumpy G in the Streamlabs, streamlabs.com/Roxy Stryer says, hi, Roxy and Steph. Remdesivir, so that's the drug, is only used for the worst cases of COVID. It's like they're expecting the worst. And thanks, America, for hogging all the medical supplies. My hope for America is ordinary people like you and Steph. Much love from Sweden. Thanks, Grumpy G. Yeah, sorry that we fucking suck.
Yeah.
Love Sweden. Sucks that we're
I feel like Sweden's had a pretty good hold on the virus, though.
That's true. Probably because people there maybe give a crap.
Yeah, Sweden's really, really beautiful. I love that place.
Beautiful people, beautiful place, and all of that stuff. All right, let's get a little sexy.
Ooh.
Let's get a little sexy. What a transition. Let's talk about Jada Pinkett Smith. So, in general, just talking about the Smiths, for years and years, there has been talks about their open marriage. Not ever really clarified by either of them, but around Hollywood, their open marriage has been spoken on many times. Jada's also said that they're in an unconventional relationship or unconventional marriage. I believe she said that on Red Table Talk, and she's talked about that in interviews before, but she hasn't really defined what unconventional means. And unconventional could mean so many things. Unconventional could mean that you don't see each other that often. It doesn't always mean that it's something sexual. But then August Alsina, do you know who that is?
Yeah.
I don't know who that even is. That's how out of the game I am. He's a musician?
Yeah, he's a pretty big artist.
Okay, so he's an artist. Came out and was like and I guess in a music video of his, he referenced this a year ago by using her middle name in a text message in the music video, and people had speculated then, but finally he came out and, after previously denying that there was an affair, he came out a couple days, I think 2 days ago or yesterday, and was like, not only was there an affair, but it was years long. I was absolutely in love with her. I could die happy today knowing how in love with somebody I've been, and Will Smith approved this affair. So a lot of people were going nuts on social media, like, whoa, what is this? Also, he's friends with Jaden. So that's like another layer to this, but okay. And then today, Jada's reps like vehemently denied this. And just were like, this absolutely did not take place. Truth be told, it's as their private marriage and lives, it's really not our business who they're fucking, as long as they're communicating with each other and on the same page. I'm talking about Jada and Will. But at the same time, it is very interesting that this doesn't seem to be that well kept of a secret. And if August is going to come out, maybe I would think maybe she just wouldn't respond. But to come out and be like, that absolutely is not happening and did not happen. And for him to be saying for years we were in love and she broke my heart, essentially, this seems to obviously not be matching up. Steph, what do you think?
Okay, I think exactly what you were saying. They have spoken openly about being an unconventional marriage. A lot of people have speculated that that meant open marriage and that they were totally okay and comfortable with that. So, like, really, for me, it's not that I really care if it did or didn't happen. What's interesting is that, let's say it did happen. And August is like, I don't want to start any drama. He was saying, I love them so much. There's a lot of people that they don't know what went down. And then my name is getting ruined. Basically, that's what he was saying. You know what this is going to do to
that for a second?
Yeah.
Very, very true, Steph, because it makes me wonder, and I want to get your thoughts on this.
Yeah.
Why now, and why is he coming forward with this? So you're saying because of the ruining of his name is what he feels?
Yeah. So he's saying that it's like, so I think what I'm assuming, and this is all assumption, a lot of people in the industry are probably like, when he came out with that song, they were like, that's not cool. We don't touch Will Smith. Like, there's a big respect for that family, and specifically Will Smith, if like just in the industry. So I think a lot of people were like, dude, August, you're being really weird. Like, you're talking about someone who has children who you are associated with. And now I think he's coming out to be like, it was a mutual relationship. Will gave that to me. He probably thinks this will clear his name, but in my opinion, it makes it messier. It's like, the kids are going to see this, and probably they're aware of their parents' relationship because that family is so open with each other. But it's just really messy to me that he would do that. And he does have the right to clear his name, but if it's within the industry, then call them.
I know. And especially when he says, this was a quote, I actually sat down with Will and had a conversation. Due to the transformation from their marriage to life partnership, he gave me his blessing. Like, why he wants people to know that Will is okay with this is clearly because he wants some kind of status in the industry or change in the industry for how he's being treated. But that just, you're kind of shaming Will Smith. And like, that's not going to be helpful. And one of the reasons we call this Hollywood's one of its best kept secrets is because obviously, if any publication really wanted to look into this and out them for being in an open marriage, which is not illegal and which is not wrong, if you guys are both on the same page, then they could. Any of the THRs, varieties, like TMZs of the world, come on. You think that Perez doesn't have enough material that he could do an entire saga on this? But they don't, because this is a family. This is it's really like none of our effing business. And it's clearly something that they don't want out in the public and just about the lives that they're living. So
yeah,
it's strange that he's trying to really, really push this and wanted it to be clear that they were in love, that Will was cool with it. I will say, though, I had no idea who this person was before this. So
and now you do.
And now I do.
Yeah, if you don't listen to like R&B and rap like exclusively, he's not one of the like major names that you would know. He is pretty prominent, but it's bizarre. I think he does. I saw in the comments he must have an album coming out. I totally believe that. A lot of artists do that kind of stuff anyways to promote their albums. I mean, when I told my mom, she goes, "It's fake. He's a stalker," because she's like so in love with Will and Jada and like loves the idea of them having the most innocent, solid relationship with their beautiful kids. And they very well might. That still could be a thing.
A possibility, yeah.
I do think that if the reason why they don't openly say that if they are in an open relationship is because of brand deals and stuff like Red Table Talk, you do look at there's a large portion of America that would not look at the family the same way and listen to them the same way if they thought that.
I agree. And I think, if I'm really pressed on it, do I think that they did probably have an affair? I don't even know that you call it an affair, because that's not really what it technically is if there's permission being given. Do I think there was a relationship with this man of some sort? Probably. Probably, honestly. But like,
would we fall in love with Jada Pinkett Smith as deeply as he did? Probably.
and all the Tupac stuff is coming back up now, obviously, as well. So, but it's like, yeah, probably she's dope and gorgeous and talented, and he is the same way. So, like, they both probably, but I can imagine the conversations that are going on, if this is true, conversations that are going on in their household right now are probably Will's being like, Jada, you have to pick better. Like,
this is messy.
This shit is messy and it doesn't make us look good. And I feel bad. And if I'm Jada, I'm so pissed at this dude.
Me too.
So pissed at him, because it's like, if we're really were in love and it was clear what our arrangement was, like, why are you doing this, dude? Like, come on.
When you have kids in the business and she works with her kids, it's just, and her kids, it's so messy and just a little bit like dramatic. And I feel for him, because like, it's like he probably does want to clear his name, but this is not the way you do it. I don't know who's managing him, but the whole interview was a little bit bizarre and very intense.
Yeah. To Simply Simone, who says that's why you have an NDA. The problem is, say they did have an NDA and say he broke it. What's she going to do? Sue him and then show that she had an NDA with him?
Yeah.
Like, and then come public about the fact that he wasn't allowed to come public? I mean, then that will like confirm very clearly what happened here. So her hands are a little bit tied. I think, as always with the Smiths, this will blow over. It won't be a big deal in like 0.2 seconds. I'll probably forget his name relatively quickly again, unless he's actually a star, and then, okay, I'll maybe listen up. But like, I just don't like when you have an agreement and you were in love with somebody and you guys decided something together, even if you are not in love or not together anymore, you hold true to those agreements. You don't fucking go back on what you promised somebody when you were together. You don't do that.
Yeah, we're adults. If you guys want to figure out things that are not traditional, then you do have to honor that. Mm-hmm. Also, it'd be interesting. This would never happen, but if Jada brought him on Red Table Talk,
that would be insane.
And either released one way or the other information, like, no, this didn't happen, so let's talk about what you did, or now we're willing to talk about our open relationship.
That would be insane. Insane. Spidey Sensei 72 said, that's why you don't mess around with young dudes. They can't keep anything on the low.
That part.
How young is this dude?
I think he's in his 20s.
Ugh. Even men in their 30s now.
Yeah.
All men are so lame.
they're just so lame, you guys. You guys,
That's how
all
I
the men
really
in
feel
this
about it.
chat, like hold the weight
Yeah.
for all the shitty men. We need some hope.
Yeah, please. That's definitely true. Speaking of men, fair transition.
92. So he's 26. Or I mean 27.
Yeah, that's really young. That's really
Yeah,
young.
really
He was
young.
cute though, but
His
it's very.
hair color was kind of like mine. I was like, oh shit.
Oh, I didn't see that.
It was like rubbing out.
All right. So speaking of men, let's talk about this entire Ray Fisher, Joss Whedon, Jason Momoa, etc. situation. So for anybody who doesn't know, I'm going to break it down for you guys. Let's go back to Justice League. Everybody knows that when Justice League was shot, we started by shooting with Zack Snyder. Zack Snyder is the one who hired Ray Fisher. Ray Fisher plays Cyborg in Justice League. Ray Fisher has been incredibly adamant about being a supporter of Zack Snyder, saying Zack Snyder found his career. Ray Fisher did not have movie and film credits before that. He had played Muhammad Ali and I think an off-Broadway production, and that was pretty much it. And Zack Snyder took a massive chance on him. So Ray Fisher loves Zack Snyder. Ray Fisher is the one who has been really leading the charge of release the Snyder Cut for a very long time. All right. So we know that Ray Fisher and Zack Snyder are incredibly close. We know that they have wanted to work together in the future. After Zack Snyder left the film, which there's a lot of controversy around that as well, Zack Snyder said he left the film because of the tragedy that took place in his family. For anybody who doesn't know, his daughter committed suicide. And at that moment, or during that time, during those weeks, he left the film. There's been a lot of talk and speculation afterwards that really what happened was DC fired him from the project, which is unconfirmed, but that's what's been speculated. Who took over was Joss Whedon. Joss Whedon has been problematic in the past, but not massively so. This is not a Bryan Singer situation where there have been clear-cut people who have come forward and claimed things, but there have been rumblings about him being a little bit sexist or some things having happened, but no clear-cut things. He's cast many women. Obviously, Buffy was like such a massive movement as well. So Joss Whedon taking over, people were pretty excited about it first. When Joss Whedon finished the film, there was a massive press tour that went down. In that press tour, Ray Fisher was raving about Joss Whedon. So, when you're doing press, you're promoting a movie, you're talking positively about the people who work on that movie. We see that all of the time. As he was talking positively about Joss Whedon, in one of the panels, we kind of see him talking positively and Jason Momoa staying pretty quiet. Didn't think anything of it at the time. Ray Fisher this week reposted that footage of himself and said that this is absolutely not true. What I'm saying here in this video is a lie. This is not how Joss Whedon is. Me raving about him is not true. So that is how it kind of started. It was a little bit subtle, in term, not subtle, but like he didn't say what was happening or why he didn't like Joss Whedon at first. So then he did go about clarifying. So he took to Twitter and he said, Joss Whedon's on-set treatment of the cast and crew of Justice League was gross, abusive, unprofessional, and completely unacceptable. He also claimed on there that he was enabled in many ways by Jeff Johns and John Berg. Jeff Johns and John Berg being the producers of the movie, Jeff Johns being one of the biggest names in all of DC. So he was saying that they enabled Joss Whedon to be that way. And then he wrote accountability over entertainment. Okay, so that came out. How is that relevant to Frosty the Snowman? As that came out, an hour later, it was announced that Jason Momoa was going to be the voice or was going to play Frosty the Snowman in a new Frosty the Snowman movie. Who is that movie being produced by? Jeff Johns and John Berg, who are the producers that Ray Fisher is claiming enabled Joss Whedon to treat them so poorly. So there's a lot of moving parts to this story that make it pretty wild. And those words are not minced. I mean, gross, abusive, unprofessional, and completely unacceptable. interesting that he decided to say this, not only say it, but say it now, and to show that what he was saying on the press tour was not true, and he was only saying it because he was on a press tour. So all of this happening, Steph, curious from you, initial thoughts on what you think about Ray Fisher coming forward about Joss Whedon, why this would be taking place now, and any feelings on the situation in general.
Yeah, I mean, that is really, really messy. But I do think that I've spoken to a lot of my Black friends who are actors and actresses in the industry, and a lot of them have been having these sort of internal discussions of, if we're going to do this, it's now. If we're going to say something that happened, it's now. So can that be abused and can that be manipulated? Absolutely. We will definitely be hearing stories where things are getting, as in any sort of case, when we're trying to make up for centuries of bullshit. But I initially just believe him because I just think that what he's saying is not like outlandish. It's actually really, really believable of directors and people who have a lot of power in Hollywood. And it lines up with some of the other facts that we've seen. I think that in terms of enabling, that could Jason Momoa could have not noticed that. That's kind of like more digging to like really realize how things went down. But I think if you're going to say something, and if you were treated that poorly, and if there was a even chance of him maybe directing more things with Fisher, I would want to avoid that if he's if he's as horrible as he says.
Very true. I think also a few things to keep in mind. This is probably not only is this not helpful to Ray Fisher's career, coming out and saying this is probably actually harmful to Ray Fisher's career. So why would he do that?
Yeah.
My question is, though, about his statement when he says his on-set treatment of the cast and crew of Justice League was gross, abusive, unprofessional, and completely unacceptable. It kind of reminds me a little bit of what's being said about Lea Michele right now, where I don't know that this has any racial connotations.
Yeah.
Or if Joss is just a fucking dick.
Yeah.
And so I would like a little clarity on that, because I think right now, especially if a Black man and a Black actor is coming forward about somebody doing something that is unprofessional, abusive, gross, and unacceptable, I would like to know more about it. Is this equal treatment across the board and he's a fucking ass? Or is something else going on here?
Because yeah, I think
it's just a little unclear.
Specifics are important, Rox, totally, because in this time when we're going to be making a lot of changes in every industry, especially the entertainment industry, we have to be specific, because each person has problems and problems that they're causing in the workforce, and it is different. Like racial training and sensitivity is different than sexist. And that's different.
Very true.
Yeah, just like gross or violent. There's so many levels to it, but I believe him. I agree with you. It's not a good look for him. Most execs don't want anyone who's talking out. Same thing with John Boyega. Like, he took a really big risk by speaking out about anything. They don't want that.
Right. So I think that if you're going to do it, it's because you feel like you can't move forward without doing it.
Yeah.
And so I also, just as a side note, sat down with Ray Fisher for an hour for DC Movie News 2 years ago when Justice League was coming out. And I have to say, and who the fuck knows, but he was just so lovely and just seemed so real and raw and truthful. And I just got a really good vibe about him and sense about him. Like, that's 1 hour with one person one time, so who knows? But I just really liked him, and I believe in him. I think he's very talented, and I loved his work in True Detective as well afterwards. I would like to hear more, and I would like to hear more about also what he feels Jeff Johns and John Berg's involvement was here. Because if you're going to say that they enabled him, I've been a massive, massive Jeff Johns fan for years. So we need to know if he's working on all these DC films, and what does it mean that he enabled them? Does that mean that they were aware and they didn't say anything? Does it mean that they egged him on? Like, enabled could mean so many things. So I just feel like if you're going to come out and say something and you have to put it in a 220 character tweet or whatever it is, then there clearly needs to be a follow-up interview, because we need to hear what the truth is, at least what your truth is. So we'll definitely be reporting more on that. To Rob K, who says, damn, Roxy's not holding back on the hate here, LOL. I don't feel that way at all. I don't think I'm hating on anybody. What I'm saying is I have questions, and I'm glad that Ray Fisher came forward, and I want to know more.
Me too.
That's kind of the extent of it. James Wheeler says, hello, Roxy and Steph. Are either of you a fan of MIA? Watched her IG live this morning, and it was great. That's highlight paper.
Highlight paper.
Yeah, that's the only thing I know of MIA anymore. And that was years ago.
Yeah.
Are you an MIA person?
I was obsessed with her when that song came out, and I listened to a bunch of her other music. And I just haven't. She hasn't been on my radar in years.
Well, maybe she's been MIA.
But
was that a good one?
Yeah, that was good.
I'm sure every person and their mother are making that joke, but when I say it, hopefully it comes out a little different. A couple things going on in the Streamlabs. Let's see. Chris Martinez says Star works at a local fast food place that isn't handling the situation well. Maybe instead of, is Star your girlfriend? There have been cases. Oh yeah, Star is your girlfriend. There have been cases at other stores, and they refuse to tell the employees which stores have cases. Also, the dining rooms are fully open. Send her some good vibes, please. Definitely sending good vibes. Yeah, I heard this about Ralph's early on. That and that's not a fast food place, it's a grocery store, but it's so fucked up to have confirmed cases of COVID at your place of work and not tell your employees that there are confirmed cases of COVID.
It's so not acceptable as a leader.
You can't fucking do that. So Chris, my heart is with Star right now. I wish her luck and you luck, because this shit is no joke. And I feel like there's going to be a ton of lawsuits after this.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. All of these people, this is why Gavin Newsom and Cuomo were so extreme, because we don't even know what kind of lawsuits can come out of this, because it's completely new grounds. And especially if you're an employer, this is why a lot of people let people go, because it was it's such scary territory.
If you are an employee and you get COVID because your boss knew other people had COVID and didn't tell you, and you were coming in, how can you not? And you get really sick, and I don't know, maybe even possibly get somebody else sick who even worse happens to. How is that not a lawsuit?
Yeah, it absolutely, you're putting people at harm for money.
You have to be honest with your employees right now. Glenn Caesar in here. Hello, Roxy and Steph. Love you both. Welcome back, Steph. Thanks for hanging out with us today. I hope you and the Rockstars band have the best rest of your Wednesday that you possibly can. By the way, it's July 1st, so happy birthday month to you. Also, Roxy, enjoy it. Mine's July 2. Glenn, what's your birthday? I want to know. It is my birthday month. Yay, bitchin' birthday month. You guys know
Cancer gang.
I love my birthday usually, but this fucking year, I don't even know what I'm going to do. Ugh.
We have to figure it out.
You think something? We'll do something?
Something, yeah. 100%. Maybe a weekend getaway. I don't know.
Oh my God. That would be insane. That would be insane. I can't even imagine doing anything. Sugar Gum in here says, what will be really telling of the industry is if these Black actors coming forward about mistreatment, Ray Fisher, Anthony Mackie, and John Boyega will receive work after this or not. Anthony has the show, of course, but we'll see. Totally. When you deem somebody to be a liability, are you still going to hire them because the goal is to elevate Black voices?
Yeah,
Let's
completely.
See.
I really hope these people don't knock. Give me 1 second. I'm going to tell them I can't talk to them.
Who is it? We want to know.
I have no idea.
Okay, good luck. Wishing you luck, my friend. Well, we are almost getting out of here. So the last thing that I wanted to
Is there
talk
any
about,
way you can come back in 10 minutes? I'm doing a live stream right now. Is that okay? Yes, thank you so much.
I don't even want to talk over it. I'm just curious.
Okay. 10 minutes. Thank you so much.
Just only 10 minutes. Just 10.
Oh, did I not?
Who's there for 10 minutes?
Oh, I didn't mute myself?
No, but it was amazing. I was happy with every second of it.
Thank God I'm a nice person. I could have really just outed myself. I'm like, you
Can you
fucking
fucking
pieces of shit.
leave?
Get the fuck out of my door.
Wait.
No, they told me I have a diseased tree. Like, I know what to do about that right now.
Wait, what's happening?
No idea. They just said, oh, you just have a diseased tree we'd like to tell you about. And he like dropped a leaf and it did look diseased. I'm not going to lie.
Wait, but what are they doing in 10 minutes?
I said come back in 10 minutes. I can't talk about a diseased tree right now.
But you want them to come back?
I mean, if there's a diseased tree and they want to tend to it
Oh my
for
God.
free,
I
let's
cannot.
talk about it.
That is unbelievable. All right. That's totally fine. To each their own. Thank you to Lewis in here who said, yes, it worked. Oh, good. I'm glad, Lewis. Glad that it worked. Before we get out of here, let's talk a little Kim Kardashian. What is up with Forbes and the Kardashians? When Kylie Jenner is a billionaire, Forbes has an issue. When Kanye is a billionaire, Forbes has an issue. And when Kanye says Kim's a billionaire, Forbes has an issue. Now, I get that you don't want to say that somebody's a billionaire if they're not a billionaire, but also, what are we talking about? They came out and said she like has over $900 million. It's like, I don't even fucking care. Like, I don't even care at this point. Every time I hear about it, it makes me feel ill that any person on the planet has this much money. Like, the fact that Kanye's independently, Kylie's independently, and Kim independently all have $1 billion. That's one family. Like, you're telling me without even the other members of the family, there's $3 billion there? What? But I also like the family. So I don't know. What do you think, Steph?
Okay. I think there's a few things going on. Forbes got shit on by calling Kylie Jenner a self-made billionaire. A lot of people have issues with that term because to be self-made, you have to be literally starting from nothing. And she started with millions. So that's one thing. But I also think that they're probably just trying to be specific and maybe a little bit petty over something. But it is true. Like, you're a billionaire, Kim. And I almost went on a tweeting rant where I was like, no one should brag about being a billionaire because that for billionaires who own massive companies, something's really wrong because how can you be a billionaire? And if your employees aren't all making well over minimum wage, you're a thief. But they own private companies and a lot of their money is on their personal name and what they've done. So in a lot of ways, I'm like, I just call them a billion. I mean, it is what it is.
Like, if you are a billionaire, yeah. Did you see Kanye's tweet about it? I don't understand what this man actually said. Like, some of his verbiage.
The last part, I think he was trying to make a rap, but it was like,
this is so unclear. All right, so let's get to it. This is what to congratulate his wife, he tweets and says, "I am so proud of my beautiful wife, Kim Kardashian West, for officially becoming a billionaire. You've weathered the craziest storms, and now God is shining on you and our family. So blessed, this is still life. So I made you this still life. We love you so much." Huh?
Yeah, he's trying to be poetic. I think they both take a lot of credit when it comes to each other's careers. And I think he specifically thinks he's made. I think he's saying this moment that we're capturing with this life of extreme success, our children, our happiness, our ranch with $18 million horses is a thing that we want to capture in still life for longer. And we have. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I guess so. What a strange dude.
Yeah. I mean, took a picture with Elon Musk today. I'm like, you two together are just a lot.
Imagine having $1 million.
I mean, that would be very nice.
$1 billion?
Yeah, I can't even compute what having $1 billion.
I don't even know what that means.
But I know I wouldn't be a billionaire because I would have been giving millions to everyone suffering.
I know. That's like the other thing, especially during this time. Like, why are you?
Before the tree guy came into the door. Sorry, I'm like stuttering. I did want to say one thing about John Boyega and Fisher.
Yes. Your husband, John Boyega. Yes.
Yeah, he's my husband. If you guys don't know this, he doesn't want me, but maybe one day. Anyways, to your question of what about work and how that will affect them, I think with people like you and me in the industry, and the more power we gain and more people like us, they're never going to not work, because I would be so happy to work with either of them.
But we need to be in positions of power, and
Yeah.
we are still so many years away from from people in power not just being these white men.
But we have like Ava DuVernay and Shonda Rhimes, a lot of people who have openly been like, we got you.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And hopefully they do. A couple more things before we get out of here. Glenn Caesar says, my birthday is July 17th. That is awesome. Cancers Unite. And we'll be celebrating a lot of birthdays this month, I believe. Weston Ira in the Streamlabs says, hopefully Steph knows we don't take her for granted.
Aww.
Has hashtag Stexy heard of the mayor of St. Louis reading the names and addresses of protesters on a Zoom stream recently? Surely nothing could go wrong there. No, I did not hear that. Was that on accident?
That's a lot,
on purpose or on accident? On accident. So curious about that. Also,
address thing, I mean, it happens to mayors too, like where a lot of protesters show up at people's houses. I don't like any of that personally. I think both the protesters should be protected and people in office at their own homes.
Yikes, they're saying on purpose. You're just gonna read the addresses of protesters on a Zoom stream? That's so fucked up.
I mean, that should be illegal. You're willfully endangering your constituents. That's psychotic.
I'm like so upset by that. Also, I'm upset, Weston, that you think that Steph might think we'd take her for granted. We all love you,
never.
Steph.
I feel like I get so much love. I just leave feeling like I've done something right with my life.
The rock stars are obsessed with Steph. We all know it.
Mutual.
It's very true. As we are getting out of here, and speaking of our love for Steph, I know that you guys are probably already following her, but if you're not, make sure you go follow her at Steph Sabraw everywhere. Also, what's going on with your YouTube channel, lady?
I know Rox keeps talking about this. It's coming. I've told you I'm mainly going to be just focusing on election stuff, probably. I've just been really trying to find my place with everything that's happened lately.
Are we going through something?
No, just like an international race atrocity and a pandemic. Just it's casual.
And tons more World Girl stuff to come.
Yes.
Also tomorrow on the show, guys, Ed Greer is joining, which I'm very excited about. So make sure you tune in there. I haven't seen him since any of the Screen Junkie stuff that we were doing. So please check that out. I'll put that on our Patreon tonight. Anybody in the $10 and up tier can write a question for Ed Greer if you've got one. Steph, anything else that you got to get off your chest before we get out of here?
I just love you so much, and I hope you have the most wonderful day.
Is that to me or to the rock stars?
To you. And to the rock stars, I hope you have a freaking awesome day too. Are you kidding me?
I love you so much. And I hope that not only do you have the best rest of your day, but to your diseased tree, that we find a way to undisease it, cure it, and make it a whole healthy tree again.
Thank you so much.
Yes, you're welcome. Love to you guys. See you tomorrow, 1 p.m. live at the Roxy.